Hey, horror fans, happy October once again. Board now, back with Rachel McDonald. And this is another bonus review we're doing for the month of October. So, on this video, we will be talking about Tucker and Dale. First, she's got the DVD. Amazing. Very good. I can always rely on Rachel. DVD at the ready. Tucker and Dale versus Evil from 2011, 10 years ago. That's insane. But so this is a horror comedy, so definitely more of a lighter one this time. And the main setup, the gag of the movie is that you have these two hillbilly characters, Tucker and Dale of the title, one of them played by Alan Tudyk, who I guess is sort of the biggest name in the film. People
definitely would be.
From Whedon shows, Firefly, Dollhouse, a few other things. So he plays one of the brothers, but they're this sort of mismatched hillbilly brothers. So the Tudyk character is like the more grounded, the more sort of straight-laced and like sensible one. And then the other brother, is it Dale, the other brother? Or
yes. So Alan Tudyk is Tucker, and then the other one is Dale.
Yeah. He's the more kind of, slow, dim-witted style one who doesn't quite understand the way the world works. Yeah. And so the film puts a twist on the whole thing about kind of like obnoxious college kids going camping, and they're not murderous fiends as these sort of things normally play out. So as we get more into the comedy, it just leads to all these misunderstandings where characters get killed off but accidentally. But the way it plays out is then it sort of always looks as though Tucker or Dale are involved in the killings. And there's also like a romantic subplot with this character Allison, who is obviously meant to be the most likable of the college kids. She's played by an actress out of 30 Rock. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
And I'm rewatching 30 Rock at the moment. That's for those who haven't seen it. That's a brilliant comedy on TV. But that's what I know that actress from.
Okay.
But there's sort of a subplot where she starts getting close to the Dale character, and they have, again, maybe to twist things around, they have this unlikely sort of romantic relationship, and you also get like the more douchey of like the college kids, this character Chad, who there's a twist later on with his character. Parents or something were like supposedly
killed by hillbillies or something like that.
Stereotyping them and picked this movie, so that obviously indicates she likes it. So tell everyone, what do you like?
So I have to. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually haven't seen this film. I think since it first came out. I remember Stephen and I watched it and we really liked it. I bought the DVD because that's just what I do. But it's just kind of sat in our collection. And so one of the reasons I suggested doing this is because I actually wanted to revisit the film. And I have to admit, for the first 10-15 minutes, I was like, okay, have I made a mistake? Is this film not as good as I remember it? Because the first 10-15 minutes are not subtle. I think I actually made a note. I was like, yeah, this movie is really blunt. Like, we get a little bit of like the opening is very abrupt, and like we just see some people get killed, and then the college students are complete dicks, and there's a little bit of a homophobic gag with a cop who pulls Tucker and Dale over, and it looks like they've been doing something. It was like, at the beginning I was like, okay, this is feeling a little bit early 2010s-ish. Did I make a mistake? Is this maybe not as good as I remember it being? But after about 15-20 minutes, when the film actually started to pick up a little bit, I was like, okay, all right, no, there's still some funny stuff in here. There's a bit of cringy stuff. There was definitely some lines and some deliveries and some characterization that was making me go, oh, this is not great. But then we get, I think it really starts to kick into gear. So obviously we have the college students and I think this film is very funny as showing the misconceptions that we have based on people's, physical appearance. Because these kids literally have nothing to go on when they first see Tucker and Dale. Yeah. They're literally just driving by them in the car and they're all like, oh my God, did you see the way those guys looked at us? They're going to kill us. And it's like, dudes, you saw them for like 2 seconds. And so, of course, you have the Chad guy who's like encouraging their stereotypes, but they all decide to go skinny dipping, and Allison falls off a rock because she gets startled because Tucker is being a little bit of a pervert and, pervert on her, and she gets startled, she falls off the rock, and Tucker and Dale, go and rescue her. And I actually do love this scene. Dale or one of them yells out to the other ones, they're like, we got your friend, and they think that they're threatening them, that they've kidnapped her, and that's where the whole thing kind of goes from. But of course Allison discovers that Dale is actually quite sweet. He brings her pancakes, and when he thinks that she doesn't like pancakes, he makes her bacon and eggs instead. And then she finds out that he's got like a really good memory. They play like Trivial Pursuit and he can like memorize everything, and they start to bond. And then of course you see the college kids start to come up and creep around and see everything, and you just have these great misconceptions. And we're going to get into spoilers because we need to talk about spoilers to talk about the comedy of the movie. So one of my favorite bits starting off was they see Tucker outside with a chainsaw trying to chop down some trees, and he accidentally saws into a giant bee's nest. So the bees start swarming him. So of course he starts running and screaming, but he's running and screaming with a chainsaw. So of course the college kids start to freak out, and they're running and Tucker's running and he's screaming. And there's a great scene where he and the kid are actually face to face, and they're actually just kind of looking at each other like all confused, and Tucker's like, well, I don't know what's going on. And then the kid runs into a tree branch and gets skewers on the branch, of course. So you have our first murder. So the rest of the movie is just kind of like a series of events like that, of the college kids coming to rescue their friend because they think they've been kidnapped, versus Tucker and Dale just trying to have a nice vacation. That's all they want to do, because Tucker's won this vacation home. They just want to come and fish and chop down trees. And there's another great scene where Tucker's loading the wood chipper, and one of the college kids comes running at him screaming. He ducks, and so the kid goes over his back and into the wood chipper. And then Tucker's trying to like grab his legs out, and he's like screaming at him, and it's so good. But how did you go with this one?
Enjoyed it. It's a good watch. I don't know if I'd say I love it. I think there's some. I think like you, I think it gets better as it goes on. I think early on in the film, I didn't find it that funny. I think it definitely gets funnier once you get into the stuff with the accidental death.
Definitely.
The stuff with I like the sort of like mismatch, sort of odd couple stuff. I like the brothers together. I think they have good chemistry, because I don't think I've seen the guy who plays Dale in anything.
I think I might have seen him in like maybe some bit parts, like maybe like SVU or Scrubs. You know how you get those actors that just kind of pop up in like bit parts here and there. But I think that might be it.
That's mostly it. But he's really good. He's really good at playing like sort of innocent and naive, and you sort of get into the stuff with him and Allison, because I think in a different film that could come off as kind of sort of creepy and obviously pervy. But in this, I think the humour just works and sort of endears you to the relationship, because his excitement when he finds out that she likes playing games is like really funny and really sort of cute. But they just make it work. I think in another movie it could have come off as a bit too creepy. So it gets better. I think there's certain jokes they could have went a bit further with. I think like when you have the stuff with Chad and the flashbacks and he's telling a campfire story, I think stuff like that, I think the humour could have went a bit further and made that a bit more sort of entertaining and send things up. There's probably certain gags that I agree with you are a bit dated. So it really gets going, I think, probably in the second half of the movie. I think before then it's a bit hit and miss.
I agree, yeah.
I think once it gets into like the absurdity of it is when it really gets going. But obviously we both like Alan Tudyk, and sort of he's on vintage form in this. I think there's just something about his delivery, like how deadpan it is, and just the way he times that delivery. So there's a couple lines, like quite an early one is when he says, I think he's got a line where he says to Dale, you know, you're a good looking guy, and then he stops and it's like more or less sort of thing. So that sort of line and the delivery, that's sort of classic like Alan Tudyk. And there's some good stuff with them, obviously, as brothers, like the chemistry and stuff. But as he said, some of the physical stuff and some of the slapstick stuff with the deaths was like really good as well, and you know, Alison was likable. I think you could see why he would be like sort of smitten over her, and obviously it's worth remembering then, even though he looks a bit more rough around the edges, I think in theory they're not that far apart age-wise. I think he's maybe meant to be early mid-20s.
Yeah, well, I think at some point I thought that they were like a lot older, and I was like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be creeping on college girls. This maybe, but when the college kid is telling his story about how his mother was killed by hillbillies. No, sorry, not killed. His father was killed by hillbillies. His mother was, well, we won't get into that. But Dale is all like, look, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I was only 6 years old, so I think he's supposed to be about 6 years older than Alison, so not too big an age difference. But yeah, I thought Alison was quite a cute little character. Like, obviously this movie is not supposed to be like a serious character driven, study, but I like that they gave her like a little bit of an arc. Like, she talked about how she wanted to be a therapist, and she thought that, a lot of the world's problems could be solved by communication. I love how at the end of the film, her solution to like all this murder and stuff, well, not accidental murder that's happening, is to sit the two of them down and have them have like a real conversation. And like, I just thought that was really funny and really cute, and kind of showed that they put some thought into her character. She was nice to Dale. She obviously really genuinely enjoyed his company. I do like the running gag of her being knocked out, and then at the end, when she and Dale go on like a real date, he buys her a present, and it's a helmet because she's always getting knocked out. I thought that was so I thought that was cute. And I agree with you that their relationship was written quite well for what it was in this movie. Like, in another movie, and maybe with actors that didn't have that kind of chemistry, it wouldn't have worked. But that was one thing that I did note. I was like, this movie is like, it's silly and it's frothy, but I do like the dynamics. I thought Tucker and Dale had a great dynamic, the brothers, and they have that very cute moment at the end where Tucker confesses that, like, he's like, when we used to catch frogs when we were little, I used to say that I let you catch more, but no, you actually just caught more yourself because you're a fast bugger. And, he's like, you're worth it. You can go after the girl. You can go and save her. Like, I believe in you. And it's just, it's a sweet moment. And I like their more comedic moments, like when Tucker comes in and he's got the face full of bees and like he's just been stung. And Dale's just like, okay, how about I finish up here and then I'll help you for the rest of the day, all right? And he's like trying to get the stingers out. Or when they decide that the kids are like, have a suicide pact because, they're all killing themselves. They're all like, these kids, they're coming out here, they're killing themselves, like some sort of suicide pact. And Dale's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, there is so much fun. But like, yeah, you kind of have to push through that first 20 minutes or so because it's a bit slow at the beginning there, a little bit cringy. The characters haven't quite settled in. I do think that all the kids playing the college kids seem to be having a lot of fun just playing those kind of like obnoxious characters. I do love that there's that blonde chick that as she's about to die, lights a cigarette. Like, she's literally surrounded by fire and someone's about to come at her with like a knife, and she's just like, nope, last cigarette, gotta have the last cigarette. I played so funny because it's played kind of like this big dramatic reveal where they find out that his dad was a hillbilly, and they tell him, they're like, Chuck, we have to tell you, you are half hillbilly. And it's, it's played as like this big dramatic reaction. Yeah. It was a fun movie. Like, hold them up. He was trying to like shoot them, and Dale's like, you got to take the safety off. And Tucker's like, what are you doing, man? And so the kid turns the gun around. and accidentally shoots himself in the face.
Yeah, that was good.
It was good fun. So I think that have a spare Sunday afternoon and you're looking for something easy and light to watch, this is the type of movie that you would kind of throw on in the background.
Gags with those characters, but Chad was a good villain. I thought I like that.
Yeah, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. It's nothing spectacular, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't rate it too high just because, like I said, it's a bit cringy at the beginning. But I think 6.5 probably be fairly fair.
That's what I was thinking. I would go 6.5, and it's something I would happily rewatch. It's obviously, we've said this before. It's sometimes nice to have a lighter watch and have a variety of things, because we're in the spooky season where a lot of people are watching different kinds of horror movies and probably some more full-on stuff. So it's good to have a lighter watch. A comedy is quite hard to do, so I don't think it's obviously a classic in that sense, because there are obviously standout horror comedies, but it's a solid watch.
I think so, yeah.
And it's a short film. It's quite a short film. It's only like,
I think it's only like an hour and a half. It doesn't have a long run time. 89 minutes. It's not even an hour and a half.
So that's an Alan Tudyk fan. I think you
enjoy. And you should be. I mean, why wouldn't you?
You really should be. He's great and very versatile, as anyone who's seen Dollhouse would know. His character in that, but yeah, he's brilliant. And the brothers are very enjoyable in this. So. That's Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. If you have seen it, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe as always, and you can check out Rachel I keep saying your surname. I mean, you're right there. You can check out Rachel's channel, and I'll put the link in the description. It's Rachel McDonald. So look out for more from us throughout this month. But we'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.